Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Hearthstone. So last time when we looked at the ZERG, we were looking them in the context of a Death Knight, but now we're going to look at the class that pretty much ran away with the archetype, and that is Hunter. And they have a far lower to the ground version of the Zerg archetype compared to Death Knight, where Death Knight relies more on using the Infestor and buffing up the army as huge as they possibly can. Hunter prefers to be lower on the ground and just having as many creatures on the board as possible in an effort to overwhelm the opponent, and hopefully they won't have an answer for it. So I would go over the card by card, but the idea is essentially the same, where you just get your Zerg minions out as fast as possible. The curve of this deck is very, very low, but there are a couple of key differences. So starting off with Devouring Swarm, this gives your creatures essentially a second chance at life, and it's a 0 mana removal spell at that. If you manage to get an Infestor out of the Brood Queen, that is insane in and of itself, so keep that in mind. This is basically your linchpin for the entirety of this deck, and this acts as a removal spell, and it gets rid of any one particularly problematic minion that is in the way. Then the next card here, Awakening Tremors, this is just a plan B of sorts. The 3/1s aren't exactly anything to write home about, but they are removal magnets, and that is all that you will need as you keep setting up all of your other Zerg stuff. The other thing, of course, is tracking. This has been a Hunter staple ever since it was introduced into the game. It's as old as the game itself. I mean, why wouldn't you run two copies of tracking? So definitely a mandatory addition into this deck. Then another one, exclusive to the Hunter archetype, Birdwatching. You discover a minion in your deck, and then you give all copies of it +2/+1. This works especially well with the Zerglings. One thing that I love to do is whenever I have a Zergling in my opening hand, I mulligan it away and in the hopes of getting Birdwatching, and so that I can buff the Zerglings to make them into 3/2s rather than the 1/1 that you see here. And do note that whatever buffs that the Zerglings get, it will be passed on onto its copy. So keep that in mind. And also, if you have multiple copies, like say you have a couple that you got from the spawning pool, all of them will get the buff from Birdwatching as well. Then another card that is exclusive to the Hunter archetype, rather class, Evolution Chamber, where minions get +1 attack, so that's decent enough as is, but your Zerg get an additional +1/+1, so this is a +2/+1 for all of your Zergs. That is an insane finisher, and you would not want to leave them without it. Then another creature that is in this deck, Roach. If you draw this, you get a copy of it. Note that discovering it and then adding it to your hand is somehow also drawing it, so you basically get 2 Roaches for the price of 1. And then if you control another Zerg, this becomes a 3/4, so a pretty decently statted minion at that. But unfortunately, that's all he really does. It just adds a lot of pressure on board, and it's a must kill because its butt is pretty goddamn huge. Then, of course, the Brood Queen. I mean, it's the Brood Queen. It poops out larvae that you can turn into other Zerg, and then it's a card advantage engine that is insane if left unchecked. But y'all probably already know that. Then Hydralisk is another Zerg that is exclusive to the Hunter class. Deals 2 damage to a random enemy, so pretty decent all by himself, but it repeats for each other Zerg minion you control. So if you have 6 other Zerg on board, that is an additional how much is that? That would be 12 damage essentially. No, it's 14 actually. It's 14 damage spread across random enemies, and sometimes it's more than enough to kill your opponent. It's basically a slightly more powerful version of Kerrigan because it deals 2 damage rather than 1. And then if you have the Demon Hunter Zerg on board, which is the Lurker, it will deal even more damage at that. Then the flex slot that I went for here, actually it's these 3 cards in particular. These are flex slots. Everything else is non-negotiable, unfortunately. Although you can also make arguments for Awakening Tremors being negotiable because people are still trying to iterate on this deck, and from all of the hub that I hear about Zerg Hunter, it's still a work in progress. There isn't exactly a core for this yet, and everything else around it is still being tuned and refined over time. But going to the flex, what I would consider to be the flex slots, Stitch Tracker. This is here mainly for consistency purposes, because it discovers a copy of a minion. So you get additional copies of other minions that you might have in the deck and you haven't drawn out yet. Of course, if you drew them out of Nidus Worm, I mean, it already costs less, but you would prefer to have this as additional copies of whatever other minion you don't already have. You could cut this and add removal instead, like anything that you see that the Hunter class has. But I think having more consistency for this deck is warranted, because in the games that I've played with this deck, more often than not, I am hurting for more stuff to get from the deck and add them to my hand. So there is that, and it also doesn't help that the late game stuff that is in the deck is also helpful to have multiple copies of. Then Wild Spirits is the weirdest card that I have had to craft in a long while, because I didn't quite think it was that powerful, but then I kept playing with it and I realized, oh shit, you basically just summon 2 minions on board without having to cast them, which is why I prefer this over the other card that is in most ZERG Hunter decks. And let me go find it. Where was that? Oh my god. We're doing this live, as I always do, which is Patchwork Pals. Because Patchwork Pals, while it's a 2-mana draw 3, the animal companions have to be cast. And the difference is Wild Spirits, you just throw them onto the board. And it also helps that one of the minions that the Wild Spirit gives, which will be the wild seed of the stag, gives you a bow and arrow. Don't know why it's a bow and arrow, but you have to physically attack your opponent like in melee with this. So I guess the animations featuring Rexar, where he uses a bow to smack his opponent's face with, is somewhat true. But otherwise, yeah, this adds another point of pressure for your opponent. You only use this twice, but sometimes it's more than enough. And it's a 4-point swing, so that's nothing to sneeze at. Then the other flex slot in here is Zolo the Gorgon. Again, another way to copy the minions that you have in this deck. Because surprisingly, I burn through my deck relatively quickly, and by the time I get to the mid to late game, I somehow run out of minions to put on board, and I'm definitely going to be screwed once that happens. So I have Zola as a way to refresh my numbers when necessary. Then, of course, ETC. This is pretty goddamn common, especially when you're climbing up the ladder. Do note that this changes once you're in the legend ladder. You may even have to cut him, but while you're climbing up to legend, it's somewhat necessary to have an ETC board. And for this guy in particular, I have Flare for the Secret Mage, and for other classes that use Secrets, mainly Hunter and Mage, actually. Then, of course, Smothering Starfish as a way to combat Libram Paladin in particular, because that class, that deck rather, in particular, folds pretty easily to Smothering Starfish. And then if you have a bunch of Infestor stacks onto your Zergs here, it actually bypasses Smothering Starfish, because the Infestor is an aura that persists all throughout the game. Then, of course, Plate Breaker for the occasional stray armor-based shenanigans. Then, of course, Bob the Bartender as a flexible removal tool. Then, Kerrigan, Queen of Blades, as a top-end finisher, or just as a way to get more Brood Queens to let you keep, quote-unquote, drawing more cards. Now, as I've said, this is still a work in progress by the community. People are still trying to find out how to break this deck wide open and make it either as consistent as possible, and of course as powerful as possible, in order to compete with the current bullshit that the wild meta has been doing. And little update to the Death Knight Zerg deck. I actually took the build to standard, and it works really, really well in that format. When you're not facing off against the broken stuff that the wild format is capable of, it is extremely, extremely refreshing, honestly. I am enjoying the Zerg more than I am enjoying the Terrans, because the Terran decks that I have been piloting off camera, they're pretty slow, and I really do not like that, and I prefer to be aggressive with my insectoid brood here. So, without further ado, let's jump into these games.
Rexar versus the
If you're watching this by the time that I am uploading this video, you can see that I am in bronze again. And because, well, the ladder has reset, and we will need to mulligan this hand away. And I keep forgetting the one lesson that I keep learning the hard way with the wild ladder. And that is to never play within the first 24 hours of a ladder reset, because that is when all of the legend players are at the bottom and they have to scramble their way all the way to the top again. And I keep forgetting that fact, and I try playing on day one of the reset, and I learn that, well, everyone's gonna be scrambling for the top. So do not do that. Do not make the mistake that I do. Good God. Everything else against Shaman. I'm not sure what variant of Shaman this is, but we're still in bronze. So a lot of the lower ranks have been vacated by the legend players at this point. It's been about 2.5 days by the time I'm recording this video. So there is that. Well, it's a 3-4, so that's going to be problematic in the future. But we can give my opponent more headaches by putting down a Brood Queen. So we're going to pass back to my opponent. We will draw our 1 card. And I'm pretty sure the Brood Queen will not be long for this world, because that is a removal magnet. And yeah, pop-up book, yep, and attacking with a 3-4, that is to be expected. But at the very least, we drew our 1 card. And it is Starship Shaman, specifically Terran Shaman. At that, and then they have, good God, Pop-Up Book is such a powerful card. And for as simple as this card is, it's surprisingly powerful because it gives you 2 blockers, and that is very, very rare. But for now, we will need to, we'll get our 2 Zerglings down. There we go. Then we'll get the Roach down. There we go. And then we will use Devouring Swarm on this one thing, which will allow us to recycle our minions here. There we go. And then that'll spawn even more Zerglings, and this is why Devouring Swarm is a staple of this deck. Because the 2 copies will spawn 1 more copy each, so there is that. And yep, alright, it's Terran Shaman. Okay, I am pretty excited as to how they build this in Wilds, because, oh god, we got one of the worst ones. Oh boy. I guess we do Night Swarm first, and then we'll see what they do about it. Or we can use Awakening Tremors and then just plop down all of the 3-1s. Just give my opponent stuff to think about. Then we'll just use the Night Swarm next turn? Question mark? I guess, yeah, we do that. We're gonna bait him out. Let's see what they do about it. So this, and then this, and then this. So the main game plan, by the way, I didn't say it during the deck tech, but if you've already seen my ZERG Death Knight deck, it's pretty much the same thing. Just be aggressive, just flood the board as much as possible. But it is slightly different with Hunter, because this deck is far lower to the ground, because the curve is much, much lower, but this Shaman player is kicking my ass at the moment, so I guess I am not fast enough. But, ooh, we got the Infestor, so that's something. So we get the Zergling down, that is fine. Then we get the Infestor down, let's see him kill that. Then we get the Zergling down, and dare our opponent to do something about it. But given what the removal tools Shaman has, I will not be surprised that they deal with this. So I keep forgetting how to unlock this treasure chest. I know I have to press on something here, but I'm going to ruin the Murloc statue first. And yeah. Alright, I forgot that one of the removal tools that Shaman has is they can devolve your critters into something else. So that is scary for me, to say the least. And yeah, good on them for eliminating everything else. And they know that I have a Zerg in hand, so that is something. And okay, you're preferring to do that to my guys. That is fine. Making them slightly bigger. Birdwatching is fine, but we're gonna Night Swarm first. Let's see what we get. 0 mana Spawning Pool is nice, and then a 2 mana Hydralisk is also nice. So we can do that. So we do that. Then they have been buffed because of the Infestor. Then we'll see where this 6 damage goes. I'm assuming somewhere useful. Okay, yep. Yeah, pretty decent. But we are way behind here. I can definitely see my opponent taking over somewhere. We're at a pretty low life total at this point. And then Turbulus, of course, giving the rest of his team buffs. And yeah, it's definitely smart of him to just ignore what I have on board and then just go for face. Because I won't be able to easily get over his blockers anyway. So yeah, very good mid-range gaming by my opponent here. Unfortunately, to my detriment, but that's just the way how the cookie crumbles around these parts. So, I don't know if I can even crawl my way out of this, if at all. But I'll just see you guys at the next interesting point.
Rexa versus Gul'dan.
So with the previous game, my opponent just played Jim Raynor, and I died. I mean, it was a glorious death at least, so there is that. I will mulligan away these two because I don't exactly need too many of those effects. So let's see what the mulligan hand gives us. Even more ways to discover shit in the deck, so that is a thing that we can do here. And ooh, we're facing off against, again, a Greymane deck, and that is not what I wanted to draw. I would have preferred if it was still in the deck, game. So let's just use tracking here. We're gonna get something out of the deck. We're gonna get Roach. We'll get an additional copy. And we will pass back to my opponent here. And then let's see what my Warlock opponent is gonna do. This is definitely not Seedlock because they're not usually Gen Greymane builds, so that is something. Do we get an additional copy of Zola? Do we give Stitch Trackers even more buffs? Yeah, sure, why not? So that's I mean, both of our copies are already in hand, so there is that. I would have preferred to hit the Zergling so that we can get even more, but we can't have everything in this world, sadly. So there is that. Although we can use the Stitch Tracker to hopefully copy the Zergling, and presto, we did. Alright, cool. So that's that. Although we do have a 4-3 on board, so that will be scary for my opponent. Okay, he's playing a 1-cost demon. Alright, because his hand is full, right? It's an 8-6, so it's something, but can I kill it this turn? I think I can. Because we do this, and then as much as I want to play the Roach, I think we need to play the Hydralisk here and hope that it hits the demon. No, it does not. But we at least have this guy. So I mean, he's done his job. So there is that. But at least, you know, we got a couple of damage going in my opponent's face. So I'm not quite sure. So the minion, sure. It's a 9/9. Sure, we'll take that. Ooh, that is something. Choose, and then any that die return to hand. Okay, we are in a very tight pickle here. Do I put the Zerglings down? I guess we should. There we go. So we put that down, get an additional copy, and then because if they all die, it's a 6 cards in hand. It'll be down to 5, and then it'll be down to 4. Okay, I think I know what I need to do. So we'll play this, and then we'll literally flood the board here. So that happens, and then we'll use this because it bypasses the taunt. So we're gonna target this guy. Then he'll be killed by these two, and then we get some damage on this guy. There we go. So the taunt will be easier to deal with, but we're still facing down a huge amount of damage, but my board is a lot wider. So that may not have been the correct choice. I may have gone for the blocker instead, but what can we do? Okay, sure. He's just going to keep using Dark Alley Pact. Sure, that is fine. Zola the Gorgon will sadly not help here, so we may have just died. Let's move on to the next game.
Rexa versus Gul'dan.
Another Warlock player, so we're going to see what they have against us here. And this is a decent curve, but I would prefer it to be lower. So we're going to put the Hydralisk back. We're going to keep Birdwatching in hand. Then let's see what we get. We have even more Discover stuff. Oh boy. Okay, oh god, Jesus Christ deck. I don't want that many. Okay, this may be a lesson that I need to lower the curve, but even then, like what else am I gonna put in the 2-drop slot? But yeah, this is definitely a lesson and a half, and we're facing off against a demon warlock, so that is something. And good god, deck. We're gonna get the Zergling, make them 3/2s. Then we're gonna see what else we get out of this neck of the woods. All right. Okay, they have a spawning pool. Oh, it's not demon warlock. It's location warlock with a bit of demon stuff in it. I don't know why you would do that, opponent, but okay then. You do you, opponent. You do you. Do we scare my opponent into doing an action that they otherwise will not commit to? I do not think so. So we'll get Stitch Tracker down. Then we'll get a copy of the Zergling, so that we have another in the deck. And one thing I realized recently is the way to regrow the vegetables here is to pop them into the ground first. Then hopefully, water them so they grow back. There we go. Oh, okay, it is indeed location warlock, which is an archetype that people literally wrote off because everyone thought it was too slow, but then they realized, wait, it's a lot better than it looks. But it is a little too slow for wild, I think. So there is that, but we can get rid of one of my opponent's things because we have 3/2s here. Or we can use the Brood Queen. Actually, no, we'll put them both down. And there we go. Because my minions are bigger than his, and then we'll use Devouring Swarm on that thing. So there's that. Then there we go. And that dies, and then we get another copy. Then we pass back. We get our 1 card for the Brood Queen. But I'm pretty sure she won't be long for this world because she is a removal magnet of that. So, okay, we're gonna see. Yep, 1 damage to everyone. Well, everyone, and that everyone is me, so there is that. So they get their 1 Zergling out of that. Yep, killing the Brood Queen is always a good choice. Yep, and keeping my board clear is always a good choice. Wild Spirits is good. Infestor is good. I think we get the Infestor down. Then we get... I think we get a Zergling. Yeah, we're gonna keep building up our board here. Simply because we can. There we go. Then, let's see, our opponent answered that. I mean, they can use the Ultralisk Cave to kill the 1/1s that I have. And then use some other spell to get rid of everything else that I potentially have. Okay, there we go. Hey, he has that. Okay, yep. Created by spawning pool. Okay, he taps. Finally losing life in this game. Okay, my own version of spawning pool. So we do this. Then we get our 1 Zergling because we can. Then we use bird watching. Do we get a roach or do we get Hydralisk? I think we get Hydralisk. There we go. Then that'll give it a small buff. I think we can use this to hopefully target the stuff that he has on board. Or the spicier thing to do is to use this, trade it away, so that we can buff our Zerglings. There we go. And then swing in for 8 points of damage. Then use this guy to hopefully... Yep, there you go. Groove to Tears. I wonder what that achievement is. Then that happens, and he'll deal 1 again. And then I'm not quite sure if my opponent... okay, there we go. Yeah, although it is 2 random minions, so there is that. Let's see if he hits the Zerglings. Well, he only hits 1, so there's that. Then he doesn't exactly finish it off, but he does get close, so there's that. We can play out Kerrigan, but we need to remove this one first. Unless we have something else here. I guess Wild Spirits, and then we just use our hero to attack into it. If we even get the Wild Stag Seed, but I mean, Kerrigan is Kerrigan. Might as well go ham. And there we go. Then, ooh, right, she deals 3, so we can use the Zergling here to finish it off. Then, hopefully make them have to spend on the Nether's Eye here, which is the Warlock Starship. So let's see, and then they'll get an 8/8 Ultralisk here with Rush. So none of my Brood Queens are gonna last long in this world. So there's that. Okay, yep. Then he gets those two. That is to be expected. Then he kills them, and then the Ultralisk comes out. Okay. Then that happens. Then we do this. We get the Zergling down. So 4 mana. So 1, 2. And then we get our 2 guys there. Then we get a Viper. Let's see what we get out of the hand. Their own Brood Queen. Okay. So we get rid of those. And then we target the Ultralisk because that is the biggest threat that I have on board. And then we can use Kerrigan's power first before we do our thing here. So let's see what kind of damage we can do so that we can save up on a little bit of what our minions can and cannot do. So we can do that. Then we do this and this, and we pass back to our opponent. We do have another Ultralisk in the way, but I think we have enough bodies, you know, to deal with it. So we'll see. Okay, yep, they'll definitely launch Nether's Eye, and then they'll use the starship pieces to clean out my board here. Unless it doesn't? Question mark? Are those? Oh wait, no. Yeah, I forgot that it's spell bursts. So there's that. So we need to get rid of the Ultralisk here. Ooh, Lurker is nice, but we definitely need to get rid of the Ultralisk. So we need to silence the board, but I don't think we have enough time, unfortunately. So we might just be dead here, unfortunately. But it's to be expected. They got way wider than us, and hell, they're even working off of just 1 card in hand, in spite of everything. But we're going to see here. We're still gonna fight. We're still gonna fight, of course. So we draw cards. Let's see what we get. We got a Roach, so that's something. We get another Roach. That's cool. So we have 2 1-mana Roaches, so that's something. So I guess we plop them down, then hope that our opponent... our opponent will definitely ignore it, but we're not exactly at a healthy life total. So let's see what our opponent does with their 2 cards in hand. I'm assuming they just attack, then they gain a huge chunk of their health back. Why would they risk... Okay, they risk potentially losing their minion there, but okay, sure. Then again, it might have been the right choice because the Lurker is going to add a lot of damage on board, so there's that. And he's not building a starship, so okay, yep, he's going to clear my board. That is to be expected. Then he swings it for 10. Then we're going to cry, so I don't see myself getting out of this, so we're just gonna move on to the next game.
Rexa versus Lunara.
Facing off against Druid, and it could be one of 2 things. It's either the Spell Druid that combos you to death, or it could be some other variation of Druid that is legal in Wild. So we're going to see here what it is very, very soon. But if they just keep ramping for 3 turns in a row, then it's definitely the Spell OTK Druid, and it's not going to be anything else. But having Spawning Pool on turn 1 is definitely good. And then we're going to get the Awakening Tremors next turn, or we can use Stitch Tracker to copy a... oh, okay. This is not what I expected it to be. So we're going to do this, and we're going to discover a copy of a minion in our deck. Let's see what we get. We get another Zergling. Thank you very much. There we go. And keeping the swarm nice and full is definitely a way to go here. And let's water the vegetables again, see what we get. Some people claim that there is such a thing as one of the golden vegetables, but I have never seen it. But the odds of getting that thing is unfortunately very, very low. We can just use the rush of the Zergs to attack and eliminate one of these guys, but getting rid of the Zealot is definitely the bigger priority, unfortunately. Because this this is elusive, so I can't exactly target it with spells, so everything just falls onto my creatures. So we're just going to reduce its health by a bit, and then we're going to use the other Zergs in a bit to finish it off, or at the very least, scare him with Awakening Tremors. So there is that, and let's see what else my opponent's gonna do here. What does he do? Okay, Starlight Reactor. Still nothing out of the ordinary so far. It's just, oh, it's the Squirrel deck. I believe I remember what this does, what this deck archetype in particular does, where it makes the squirrels, I'm not sure if it makes the squirrels as big as possible, but they do something with the squirrels, and then they do a big number and you get killed somehow. Again, I don't remember exactly how it happens, but I do know that it does happen how I describe it. They do something with the squirrels. Then we get a Brood Queen, and we get a 6-mana Kerrigan, so that is something. I guess at this point we just play the Zerglings, and then shuffle 4 Acorns. When drawn, summon a Squirrel. Unfortunately, we can't hit that, so I guess we'll do that later. As much as I want to get the as much as I want to kill the Squirrel, I don't think I should. Simply because once I do that, his entire deck will be online. And I don't want his deck to be online. So let's see what my opponent has for me here. If at all. Okay, he's still not doing a lot. I don't know why you wanted to do that, but I guess the booty on that thing can still survive a hit. So there's that. Then we do this. Okay, we get our Zergs. There we go. There we go. There we go. Then we do this. There we go. And then we hit into this. Because we can. There we go. Okay, so these 3 die. So our hand will be full. There we go. Yep. Then that happened. Then we do this. So we won't be able to get our egg, sadly. So that is sad. But our hand will be flush with the swarm next turn. So that is something, to say the least. Now my opponent's going to be forced to kill the Brood Queen while I don't have any eggs. But he'll be facing off against an army pretty goddamn shortly. Okay, cool. Yep, shuffling the Acorns in. Again, I do not remember how exactly my opponent wins with the squirrels, but I do know it involves a big number with said squirrels. So there is that, and I want to catch it because I face off against this deck archetype only once, and I've never seen it again after that. So what we do here actually is we get all of our 1-drops down and nothing else. There we go. That's a full board. Beat my board, opponent. Oh my god. I mean, it's very easy to beat, so there is that. More than anything else. And let's see. Okay, yep, Exodar. I don't know why you didn't kill your other pieces first before you did that. It could have had more value, but I guess he got sorta scared. Again, he could potentially just wipe my board here. Okay, thankfully he didn't. Let's see what else he does. I mean, yeah, using those to kill that. Yep, that. Don't know why he didn't kill everything else, but hey, you do you, opponent. Then we get another Zergling down. Then we get this guy down. Let's see what we hit. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Then I could get the Wild Spirits down, or finally get to hit face for once. I guess we just add more pressure on board. Let's see who we get. We get the 2 slower ones, unfortunately. So there is that. Let's see. Okay, yep. We got an Acorn. We got a Squirrel that is satisfied. Let's see what else my opponent does. He does. We do have a 2/5 taunt that will be coming in next turn. So let's see what else my opponent has for me here, if at all. Let's see. Okay, they're trying to get out a card. Biology Project. Okay, giving the both of us mana. The Immortal. Okay, cool. He's not going to double his stats because he doesn't have 4 mana to pay for it. So he just gets the 1 armor, then kills one of the Zerglings. Then what's he gonna do? Okay, yep, killing the Hydralisk, sure. We're going to pop that Divine Shield bubble in a bit. So Let's see. So we're gonna use Kerrigan here. Get our 2 Brood Queens. Then let's see. Okay, cool. Yep. There we go. Then we pop that Divine Shield bubble. Then we go bird watching. Let's see what we get. We get a Hydralisk or Zola. I guess we get Hydralisk here. Then we use Kerrigan's ability. Let's see what we get. Okay, yep. Yeah, about what I expected. At least the Immortal is the only one left behind, so I'm more than safe to throw my minions onto that. Then we draw our 2 cards, and they will die very, very shortly, because that is to be expected of the ZERG lifestyle. Let's see. I've never been able to discover what else are the clickables on this stage, but I guess there isn't exactly a lot. So they're using Nourish to draw 3 cards, so that is a sign of them digging for something. Okay, yep. Getting another squirrel out. Okay, yep. Getting rid of my taunt a minion. Having Arcanite Defense Crystal is strange, but okay. You do you, opponent. Okay, let's see what we get here. Yeah, we got the bow and arrow. Then, ooh, a lurker. That is spicy. I think that's exactly the play here. So we get the lurker down, and yeah, exactly 6 mana. Unless, no, only 2 of our units can attack, unfortunately. These are for later. Shit. So we won't be able to do the spicy stuff that we want to do. So that is sad. So that happens. Then we use another Hydralisk here. Let's see if we poke out. No, we don't, sadly. So we use that here. There we go. That's 2 damage. Then we attack here. Then we attack here. There we go. Then that's 2 more damage. Then we draw 2 more cards. And let's see what else my opponent has. So we're now at parity, sort of. Because my life total isn't exactly flush, but so is he. Okay, yep, Chrono Boost, getting a Zealot with charge. So who is he going to kill? I mean, he can only really kill the Hydralisk or one of the Brood Queens. But a lot of my other minions are pretty beefy. Okay, sure. Using Celestial Archive here. Yep, he has a juicy blocker at that. So, oh, okay then. Getting rid of the one of the Brood Queens. So let's see what we get. That is fine, but it's not nothing. But Bob the Bartender is definitely the best draw. So we recruit a minion. We get his blocker out of the way. I love it when a plan like that comes together. So we do this. We swing in for a lot, and I mean a lot of damage. That's not what I would have wanted, because now he has even more acorns in his deck. Yeah, my opponent is deader than Elvis. Finally won a game, but it's been quite a struggle. Let's move on to the next one.
Rexar versus Rexar.
We're in a Hunter mirror, so let's see what my opponent has for me here. And we're going second. And this is a decent hand, because we can poop out the Brood Queen on turn 2. So this will be something for my opponent to think about. And then we will have Awakening Tremors as well. So this is going to be pretty scary for my opponent. And oh, okay, they have 40 life, so I can only wonder what my opponent is up to. We will find out soon enough. And then okay, we'll get our 3 bursting Jormungandrs. So there's that. I keep forgetting what the combination for drums are so that the volcano will erupt, but I guess I'll know when I get there. Okay, yep. This is Secret Hunter. He didn't cast it. He didn't cast the secret, so I guess it was something he didn't need at that moment. But we're going to make our opponent have it, and let's see if they do. Hunter doesn't exactly have, at least this version of Hunter, I don't think has many tools in order to kill a 5-butt minion this early on. So we're going to see if they can do something about it. But otherwise, the Brood Queen will just keep drawing me cards until I get to a point where I just dominate the game. So we will see. They are searching for something. I don't know what it is yet, but we will find out soon enough. Okay, yep, that happens. Okay, they finally got a secret. So there's that. Then the thing, the Dunbalar bunker. Search them something. We could get the lurker down, but I think it's a little too early. So we're going to scare my opponent a little here by getting the Yermungars here. Then, place a minion, summon for zombies to attack it. Yeah, that's just the one. So we do this. There we go. Don't know why it took that long to trigger, but I guess... I don't know. Again, I don't know why it took that long. So as much as I want to give my opponent the, as much as I want to use the Devouring Swarm here, I think that's a later move, not now. So I'll sit back and let the Brood Queen keep giving me larva to turn into other Zerg. Okay, he has another secret down. I'm not quite sure what it is. Okay, Eaglehorn Bow. So secret hasn't been revealed yet. Then, yep, killing the Brood Queen is definitely the right choice, but they are left behind with a Jormungandr. So, let's see what else we get here. Another Lurker. As much as I want... Do I want to? I don't think I should. So we do this. Then we get a Zergling down. Then we get a Hydralisk down. There we go. So this is 6 damage. Yep. Who are you gonna play first? Okay, cool. I'm assuming this is it before. Yep. Okay. Then moving back to my opponent here. Let's see what they do. They are thinking about it. What else do you have for me here, opponent? Mystery rare. Okay, cool. Even more secrets. So let's see. They are thinking about it. I mean, my board isn't exactly scary, but the amount of power... I mean, I have 8 damage on board, so let's see if my opponent has something to do about it. If at all. Okay, yep, Dragonbane Shot, so you can have another copy of it because it is an honorable kill. So there is that, and then, yep, using the Eaglehorn Bow. Okay, yep. That will only keep adding durability every time a secret is revealed. So there is that, and then as much as I want to play the Mutalisk, it's just a bad Zerg. It's just a bad Zerg. Oh my god, I am so sorry, my dude. You're just bad. But we'll use tracking, and then we'll actually get ETC here. There we go. And then I don't want to play the larva here, so we'll do this. Then we'll use tracking again. We'll search for another thing. We already have all of the Zerglings in hand, so we'll get Bird Watching so that we can buff the Hydralisk that we have in the deck. It's only 1 copy, so let's see what else happens here. Okay, cool. Teacher's Pet, sure. So we won't be able to attack anytime soon then, unless we draw into something else. So we don't know what the secrets are. It's the 2 mana. I mean, all of the Hunter secrets are 2 mana, so we're going to find out soon enough what it is by, let's draw it out. Let's have a 1/6, a 4/6 taunt on board. It's not something against creatures, so I am confident in that. So we do this. Then we get Flare, because we can. And then, we hit this. Because we can. There we go. So that. There we go. Then we get our 2 Zerglings, and there we go. Then they get a minion, sure. Eaglehorn Bow is going to keep getting durability because this is Secret Hunter after all. This is a pretty goddamn grindy game, and I love it. Rather than the combo or aggro fests that you have on the higher ranks, this is more my pace. Oh my god. So they need a way to deal with the rush minions that they'll be getting next turn. But I don't think they'll need to worry too much about it. Because I'll be drawing at least 1 card. Oh, Tyrannosaurus. Okay, sure. Getting rid of that, sure. Yep. hitting me for 3. That is fine. They'll be taking damage. Okay, sure. That is fine by me. So we get another one of those. Then we'll use Flare, get rid of the secret. Oh, okay. That is fine by me. So we get Zergling. And we get a Zergling. And we get a Zergling. 6 minions on board, just like that. Then we get a Hydralisk. There we go. 14 damage. What did we kill? I'm assuming... Oh, okay. We didn't kill everything, but we killed a lot of things. So there's that. There you go. Yep, I don't care. We still have 5 power on board, surprisingly. If my minions survive, we have Evolution Chamber. But I don't think they will, because they just use Patchwork Piles, and I'm assuming they'll use Huffer, and actually they might even use all 3 here, because they're all they'll cost 2. Okay, Hollow Hound is also a way to get rid of 2 minions at once. So there's that, and yeah, we even gain 9 off of that, which is insane, by the way. So we'll get I guess we'll use Spawning Pool here. Yeah, we'll use Spawning Pool. We'll get even more of these Zerglings. Then we'll use Stitch Tracker. There we go. What copy do we get? Bob is nice. So we'll get him. Then we'll use Birdwatching to discover the Hydralisk, which is nice. There we go. Then we'll use Awakening Tremors to just scare my opponent a little. Have that on board. Then we'll go in for our 2 points of damage. I'm assuming he's going to want to attack into this anyway. I think, now that I think about it, I should have put the Yermangar in the middle of these two so that he'll be forced to attack into it, thus not leaving any of them behind, and he won't be able to gain that as much health. So that is definitely a punt on my part. Yeah, using Huffer and Leok here, yeah. Ooh, just hitting straight in the face. Okay, sure. Now, yeah, I definitely should have put the Yermangar in the middle of the 2 Zerglings there, so that's definitely a punt. I mean, yeah, you're going to lose your bow, opponent. You're gonna have to accept that. Dragon Bane Shot, yep, have another copy, because you can. And then, what else are you gonna do, opponent? What else are you gonna do? Okay, they're thinking about it. They're deciding. Next turn, I'm going to use Bob to get rid of the Hollow Hound, and then I'm going to put the Zerglings down. No, I don't think I'll have enough mana, unfortunately. So we're going to force my opponent to deal with the bullshit that is going to come down on board. Okay, yep. Wild Spirits. Okay, cool. So Bob the Bartender, do your thing. We will recruit a minion. I will get the Hollow Hound. We'll use that to regain health much later. So we got the... I didn't mean to hit the Hydralisk, but okay, sure. It's a 6-3 at least. So there is that, and at least I have big minions on board, and then we can swarm the board again next turn. But I don't think I have that much longer. So that deals 2. What else do you have, opponent? And yeah, we're definitely going to die. Move on to the next game.
Rexar versus Patches!
Facing off against Rogue, so it's one of 2 things. It's either aggro or combo, because that's just the Rogue lifestyle in it. We're gonna mulligan actually this, well, nearly the whole hand away, because birdwatching is goddamn birdwatching. So we're gonna get something, but we didn't get anything. Well, shit. Oh my god. That's just a way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Let's see what my opponent does here. They mulligan 3 cards away, so, and then they draw 1. Then we just pass back, and I haven't done this in a bit, so let's see if my opponent greets. Back, then we're gonna play with the toenails here. There we go. Okay then, opponent did not react to that. We're gonna get Roach. There we go. Then that'll give us 2 copies. But we need a Zerg minion like ASAP. We freaking need a Zerg minion ASAP. Good god. Oh my god. If we even have that. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're still not getting it. Oh my god. I guess we use Wild Spirits first, just so we have bodies on board. Yeah, this is Rush, so that's not going to do anything, but we will have something in 2 turns, so there is that. But definitely a removal magnet. And oh, it's Weapon Rogue. Okay, yep, Swarthy Sword, Shiner. This is just the standard deck. This might just be the standard deck ported over to Wild. I mean, granted, it is effective, but the better version of this is Kingsbane. Just use Kingsbane. Don't use the default dagger. God damn it! There are better ways to go about Weapon Rogue. Oh my god. Okay, yep. So there's that, and then I guess we just kill this guy. Yeah, we can't exactly deal with too many problems here. So much I want to go bird watching again. I think we should give my opponent a reason to pause here, because the Brood Queen will literally just draw me cards over time. So there is that. Then we'll get our bow next turn. Okay, yep. Yeah, Sharp Shipment. Yeah, he's definitely just going to ignore the board. Well, just allow me to draw cards with the Brood Queen. Oh my god. I definitely respect that, opponent. I definitely respect that. Oh my god. So we do this, and then I guess we just we swing again first before anything else. Then we play the Viper. Let's see if they have any creatures in hand. No, they do not. Okay, yep. So everything in their hand is spells. So we have all the information we need out of my opponent here, but I'm pretty sure I'm dead, like, in 1, maybe 2 turns, simply because I did not have the speed necessary to... okay, yep, they definitely get the Swarthy Sword Shiner again, because I think that's the only creature in the standard deck, because he makes your weapon slightly bigger. I'm actually interested in making Kingsbane Rogue, because it's such a weird way to approach an aggro deck, because it makes your hero the one to attack, and that's not exactly common in Hearthstone. So, but making Kingsbane, it requires me to make another legendary again. Then I don't think I have the dust for that, as you guys saw in the deck building menu. So there is that. So my opponent is finding a way to... Uh-oh. I think my opponent did an oopsie. Come on. I think... Yeah, you have enough. There we go, opponent. See? You had it all along in you. So we only won 1 game in this entire recording, but I think that's to be expected. ZERG Hunter is still a work in progress. This is just about week 1 of the archetype at the moment, and people are still refining it, and they're still finding ways to break this archetype wide open, and it's still open for changes as the days go on. So we're gonna cut it here, and if you guys like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.